probably about July, and I was there for a couple of months, July or no, about August really. And so I was there a couple of months, and never found a job, and did go to this church, and ended up having got along okay with my friend until he tried to accuse me of sleeping with his wife. And I told him there would be no way that can happen because I'm not interested in women that way. And I told him, if you're going to have problems, don't try to blame me. And so, but we got through that. We worked through that. Well, I tried to go into, through Fresno MEPS, I tried to go into the Navy. And so, even though I had muscular dystrophy, I thought I would go into the Navy anyway. And so, and my...
Excuse me, Jim. Did you mention before when you first knew you had muscular dystrophy, or was that when you found out?
No, I had muscular dystrophy. I had that throughout school, throughout high school, junior high, high school. It on. My onset was in '83, and when I was 13, and so.
And if I remember correctly, earlier you had told me that it was about when you were 12, right? When you realized you were gay. So a year later, after you realized you're gay, you found out you had muscular.
Right, that was my problem that I had to deal with. I realized I was different, and I didn't know the word until I was 16. But I was dealing with that problem, and then I got muscular dystrophy came on, and I had to deal with doctors and go to Portland and go to Eugene and all these other things, and they could never figure out what it was. So, but I ended up going to but in Fresno, so I was trying to go into military, and my recruiter said even though that I had muscular dystrophy, to just not play that up, and because I tested so high on the scores, on the ASVAB, and the other tests that they did, that I tested super high, and that I would have no problem getting in. And I was almost in the military. It was just a paperwork snafu. I was probably within 3 days of being in the military when my first test results come back and said I was HIV positive. And that was quite the experience at Fresno MEPS. They don't tell you why. They just send me a certified letter, certified, restricted, registered letter. It cost them $10 to mail this letter. And I had to go down to the MEPS office. My recruiter picked me up and brought me down there. And he had no idea why they were calling me down there. And they march you into this office. The doctor comes in, and somebody from every one of the military branches comes in there too. So I had 6 people, the 4 military, the Coast Guard, and and the doctor. 6 people sat around, and that's when the doctor gives you this paper that says, you have tested HIV positive. And she tells me, so she told me, she sort of read this letter that she gave me and says, we do realize that this is a frustration for you, that you're unable to be in the military, and that's what you wanted to be and all. And she asked me, do you want to be retested? And I said, sure, because I was sort of in shock. It was like I was tested positive. It was always a possibility, but it wasn't something that you look for. and so it finally happened. That was in October. I called my mom and wanted to come home. And so I came back to Roseburg, because even my second test, which was a week later, came back that I was positive. ELISA positive with a Western blot confirmation. And so I went back. I came back to Roseburg, and that was about the same time that, in fact, it was the same time, 87, that the Gay and Lesbian Community Center was just getting started. And so here in Roseburg by Billy Russo. And I was sick, but I wasn't so sick that I couldn't do something, but I was too sick to go to work. So I was sort of in the gray area that a lot of people get into when they first become positive. But also when I came back, none of my family they all wanted me to come back to Roseburg, but they didn't want me to live with them. You can't live here because, you can't live here because. They all had reasons why I couldn't live with them. And so I ended up staying on a trailer on my family's property, and so on my dad and stepmom's property in Roseburg on Parrott Street. I stayed in this little camp trailer, and that was a very cold winter, and they were still adjusting because I had only told them a year earlier that I was gay, and now I hid them that I was HIV positive. So they didn't get it at the same time, but they got it within 2 years, within a year of each other. And so they were dealing with that. But I worked at, I went to, helped with the opening of the, well, the Gay and Lesbian Community Center, GLCC, had already opened. And I was, I became Billy's assistant. I helped him do a lot of the paperwork and caught onto the Commodore computer he was using at the time. And I wrote a lot of the letters, the thank you letters when people sent money, and did the filing. So they gave me a title of administrative assistant. And so, and I got busy there. And I was also, so I got busy. I was administrative assistant for Gala in '87. In '88, in November of '87, they elected me to the Gala board as a secretary. So I've been the secretary from '88 on, because you get elected in November, and you take your position in January. So from January on, I was '88 to today. I'm the secretary. I was the secretary of Gala, and so and that.
Well, now you got involved with MCC also, didn't you, Jim?
Yes, I did. And about the same time, '88 is when Jody and Donna came to MCC, and I had been going to them shortly before, and that was when Marion was the worship coordinator, and MCC was struggling, and I almost quit going to MCC, but then Jody came, and MCC totally changed. And so I became a member in '89. So it was about a year later after Jody came that I got elected as a member, accepted as a member. I went through membership classes and got accepted as a member. In '89, I also went to my first district conference, which was in Portland. And so
MCC, for the record, we might mention that means Metropolitan Community Church. Is that correct?
Right. Metropolitan Community Church of Roseburg, which is at that time was a new work of the Northwest District of the Universal Fellowship of Metropolitan Community Churches. And so at that time, when Jody came on, she was a new work, and I worked with and in '89 I also went on to MCC's board of directors also, and became their secretary there. And so, because through '88 until I became a member, I was administrative assistant. That was the title the church gave me as the board. I like that title. They give it to me in all these jobs that I do as administrative assistant, which I like doing the paperwork, so somebody has to do it, so I do it. So MCC, I was involved with MCC, and I was on the board of Gala. Now that you really see about the same people. And so that went along, and then and Jody was the pastor, and we became a commission church in '90, and so which means we got our bylaws and we got our act together really, and so under Jody's direction we were able to get our act together, and we grew. We were a growing, thriving church. In fact, in the General Conference of '91, we were given the award. MCC Roseburg was given the award for the fastest growing church by percentage-wise, not number-wise, because we sure can't match some of the big churches in UFMCC, but by percentage-wise, we got an award at General Conference, which was a big thing, and so it was real good, and so. But at the same time that Jody came on the scene in '88 is also when Billy opened Ruby House, and so which is the AIDS foster home that him and Doug opened in '88, in May of '88, and I was still living in my parents' trailer, so I became a boarder at Ruby House from '88. And I was having troubles. I was getting sick and having problems with my HIV. I was causing me night sweats and fevers and all sorts of uncomfortable things. And so I was a boarder. And then in '89, January of '89, I got a headache started, HIV, they call them HIV-related headaches. It was like a migraine that never went away. Well, it never went away,